Hello everyone, what's going on? Welcome back to a new YouTube video. Hope you guys are all doing well today. I wanted to actually take today's video as a chance to show you some work that I've shot over the last several months that hasn't really graced this YouTube channel. And I'm trying to get better about filming when I'm shooting, but sometimes it just doesn't work out or it's not really like my priority for that specific shoot. But I still want a way to be able to share all of this with you guys. So I'm hopeful that more videos like this will be appearing on the channel. I'm always shooting, especially photos. I'm pretty good at shooting, whether it's just for fun or for work or both. And I have a good mixture of both of those for you guys today. It's a good mix of work and personal stuff, travels, and some portraits. And I'm excited to share with you guys some stuff that I've shot and break it all down. All right, so photo number one here is one of several images that I'm going to show you from the shoot that I did for this company called Arrow recently. And they're a private plane company, so basically they charter flights for different people, and it's basically a private jet, but in a sense that you can book a seat on a private plane. So it's kind of a private jet experience, but at a little bit more reasonable price. And I shot this several months ago, and some of the work came out just recently, so I thought I'd share that with you guys now. We shot some really cool portraits. We had several really talented models that we shot. These are just a few of the photos. Again, I shot many thousands of images, but I'm just showing you a brief little explanation and some sample shots. If you want to see the full set, I'll link all those down below. But yeah, these images turned out really nice. So here I have 6 in total. This first shot, it was actually part of a film set, so everything was lit for me, which was really helpful. So they had like some big, like, airy 4K lights and stuff like that. And I was able to kind of just shoot alongside the film team, which was super fun. It's fun when you have that because you can kind of just shoot as you go and just pick off shots as you can. And usually what happens is when I'm shooting alongside a film team, they'll go first and then I'll shoot afterwards. So watching kind of how this unfolded, I snapped this really cool portrait of our model Candace, and she was great all day. We actually moved into the airplane afterwards, and this is probably my favorite photo from the day. It turned out really nice. I just love the sharp color and contrast on her eyes, and it really kind of captures not only the day, but also what the client was looking for. So I was pretty happy with this shot. Probably my favorite photo of the day. I just love the color, the contrast, the light. Everything's working really well together. We also wanted to show kind of how the talent was unloading the vehicles. So we got this really cool kind of candid shot. She was just unloading the truck. We got several other angles of this, but I like this one the most. This is what I shared on my Instagram. This photo is really cool of kind of the hero talent for the day. I didn't really get a chance to shoot too much with her, but I did snag this photo pretty quickly. This is towards sunset, so we got some of the ambient light and also some of the artificial light as well, and it was working really well in tandem with each other. This photo I love, just a really clean, simple product shot. This company Arrow, their colors are kind of like these different variations of yellow, orange, and red. So this is a cool photo not only to showcase the product, but I love how dark and black it is. The blacks are really nice in this photo, so I really enjoyed this one. And then finally here we have a really cool photo of this couple heading into the jet. So we shot kind of entering the jet, exiting the jet, everything in between. And this photo turned out really nice towards the end of the day with sunset lighting. So overall, this shoot was super fun. And again, if you want to see the full set, it's linked on my website. Next here we have a couple portrait sessions. So the first one is with my buddy Brooks. We shot probably about 2 weeks or so ago now by the time this video is being filmed. And we shot some really cool stuff. Several looks all throughout Echo Park and Silver Lake here in LA. I love these black and white ones. These turned out really nice. I'm getting a lot better now at shooting black and white when I need to. Basically, if the color just isn't there, and on this particular morning, I didn't really think anything was popping out too much. So I focused more on black and white, and I really like how these ones turned out. They're very simple, and I love the light in them. So pretty happy with those. We then shot with my buddy Dylan's car. These are probably my favorite from the day, to be honest. We have these 2 photos of him sitting in the car, which turned out great. Really nice, clean light to work with. I was trying to kind of emphasize his facial features, which I think turned out really nice. We got some cool portraits of him standing and also sitting in the car. Next portrait shoot is for my friend Kaisley. So she is actually a musician, and she wanted some kind of new headshots and just some stuff that she could potentially use for some album artwork or really kind of anything along that sort. And I was super stoked to help out. This shoot was really fun, and we had a blast. Shot all this on the GFX. Actually, I think every shoot that I'm showing you today was shot on the GFX. So not a lot of R5 photos today or X-T5. This is pretty much all the GFX, which is kind of what I've been shooting on the most recently. Obviously, I've shot on all the cameras, but the GFX is my favorite by far. So here you have a couple portraits of her with some really nice direct sunlight. I thought these turned out really nice. Kind of a cool film look to them. I messed with the highlights quite a bit to try to get them a little bit more orange, just to kind of actually feel like it was the day that we shot there. We have a few more photos of her with some nice sunshine lighting. These turned out great. I love this one. This is actually shot with a flash. I used the Profoto A1X, or sorry, I used the Profoto A10, and I really love how this one turned out. It's really moody, but at the same time, it's nicely lit, and I really enjoyed using that flash for this one. This is probably my favorite photo from the day. She kind of laid down in the grass, really nice and wide framing on this one, and the nice golden light kind of peering through, contrasting with her jeans. Yeah, the shoot turned out great. Full set is on my website. Next, we have probably my favorite shoot I've done recently, and this is for a restaurant here in LA that I've been wanting to shoot for a while, but wanted to get into the restaurant world and the cooking world in general. So this has been high on my list of things to do, and this is, again, one of my favorite shoots I've done recently. I think I really captured the essence of this restaurant, and it was just such a blast shooting it. So to start things off here, we have a photo that I took of these plates that I thought were stacked really cool. They were kind of leaning to one side with all the really sharp knives and cleavers behind. And I love this one. This is one of my favorite photos, actually. But it was one of the first ones of the day that I shot. So we started off strong with that one. Next, we have a few photos of the interior of the restaurant. It's a beautiful restaurant, has great natural light. So I really tried to emphasize that through shooting the table scenes and also kind of more expansive shots of the dining room. This one is one of my favorites with the sun shining through. I love the shadow detail and also just kind of how it illuminates the tables on the left and also the right while keeping the background a little bit more dark. This is a little bit wider photo of the one that I just showed you. Also really love this one. This one's of the head chef, Brian. Super great guy, and it was really fun watching him and all of his sous chefs really dial in all the different dishes for the night. It definitely left me with like a big appreciation for how restaurants work, and I had such a blast being kind of a fly on the wall for this one. A few more shots here of the interior of the restaurant, which I thought turned out really nice. I love this one. I kind of tried to make the shadows feel like they did that day. It was really like kind of burnt orange almost, so I added a little bit of that to the shadows with some split toning. And I love this one of the exterior of the restaurant. Really pretty. You can kind of see a little bit of a glimpse of what's inside, but you can't see everything, which is cool. Next, we have some photos of some of the sous chefs getting things dialed in. Lots of, sashimi and stuff like that, getting different breads ready, tuna, pork chops, all that cool stuff. And I love how these turned out. And I used the A10 as well for this shoot, and this really, really helped. I'm definitely going to be buying that flash sometime soon. Profoto just makes really great stuff, and I want to definitely have that in my arsenal because it really allows for you to shoot in darker scenes and for the light to look just super natural. Has a little bit of like a diffusion dome on top, and I thought it looks great. Here we have just some photos of some of the food that they prepped. Super pretty to photograph, obviously, but it was really fun to kind of figure out cool, creative angles to shoot a lot of this stuff. This is their famous cornbread, and I really love how this one turned out as well. Kind of with the brown butter just dripping over the cornbread, and I thought it turned out really nice. This is kind of a cool photo documenting how the night kind of goes. The restaurant is really hectic. There's a lot of people in there, and it's just kind of crazy a lot of the time, but it's organized chaos. People know what they're doing. People know their place. And this photo, I think, kind of illustrates that pretty well. Here is one of their finished pork chops, which I do have to say is one of the better things on their menu. This was really fun to shoot. I got a little bit of the rosemary and salt sprinkled on there. And then this is just a nice portrait of the chef, Brian. Now, again, this is one of my favorite sets I've done recently, so would love if you guys went and checked it out. The full set is linked on my website. So next here, we have a few trips that I've been on recently. This first set is from a trip that I did to Europe with my girlfriend, and we had an incredible time. We went to Portugal and also Mallorca, Spain, which was just beautiful. The first kind of set of photos here is from Portugal, shot for this brand, Cool and Vintage, that I've shot for several times now. And they gave us a car for the week, which was beautiful. And I had a lot of fun shooting this truck. The lines were just gorgeous. If you guys don't know this brand, they basically make these extremely high-end Land Rover Defenders, and they kind of take everything apart, so these things are pretty much brand new. And so we got to rip this thing around and shoot it with kind of the ocean backdrops. It was a blast. These first couple photos are a little bit more kind of tight and detail shots of the truck. I love this one, just kind of cropped off with the headlight and also the tires. I think just the design and attention to detail on these things is beautiful. I really love just kind of taking in and looking at the truck and just seeing how many incredible little details go into these trucks. These are some cool ones of the truck kind of on and off the beach. Really like this one, and I love these of the truck kind of overlooking the ocean scapes. Portugal has some really beautiful beaches, kind of California-esque to be honest, but there's a lot less people. So it's pretty fun to be able to shoot this kind of stuff with not a lot of people in the background for once. Here we have a few more of that same spot. I really wanted to kind of emphasize how vast and beautiful the ocean is. So to contrast with the actual truck itself, you have this really cool kind of sea moss green almost, a little bit brighter than a normal green. And that contrasts really well with the beautiful blue ocean in the background. And I love this one because you're getting a little bit of light on the front hood of the truck. And again, it can just contrast really well. I love on the right side of the photo, you can see the ocean, and I think, it just kind of opens up the photo a little bit, gives it a little bit of vastness. And yeah, I love how these ones turned out. This is from another beach day that we had. So we just kind of swam at the ocean all day. I love this one, love the contrast, love the natural contrast of this photo. I really tried to kind of emulate some film with these ones. So I'm hoping that I did a pretty good job. I think these look pretty great to me. The cool thing about the GFX is, you really can like bring a lot of the highlight and shadow detail up or down. 16-bit color depth really does allow for you to do a lot of kind of manipulation to the raw files if you want. So I did definitely bring the shadows down quite a bit for this one, just to give it a little bit more of a contrasty effect, because that's kind of how it felt when I was there. This is one of my favorite photos from the trip as well. It's a bit more of a silhouette. I took this actually with my X-T5. We're sitting on the beach, and I loved how the sun was hitting her face, so I took a quick photo and actually made it black and white, which I think turned out really nice. So I really love how this one turned out. It feels just very in the moment, natural, and really cool, kind of beautiful detail of the day. This is probably the best photo that I took of the truck, sitting on the beach with the beautiful seascapes behind. Pretty sweet photo. I'd love to get this one printed someday. So moving on to some photos in Mallorca. Honestly, it was just a lot of swimming. So we took a lot of photos swimming over the course of being there for about 10 days. And I love how a lot of these turned out. These are some of my favorite photos I think I've ever taken. I just really wanted to capture what it was like to be there and to swim. We swam at our Airbnb and also at the nearby beaches. It was just a super pretty place to swim. We had a lot of fun diving into all the different kinds of water. It was just beautiful. I loved the color and the contrast of this specific beach, and this photo ended up being definitely one of my favorites from the trip. You just have a beautiful kind of look into the water with Jaden swimming in the water. It just looks so cool, and I feel like it's a really cool memory from the trip that I definitely want to remember. We just swam so much on this trip, and I feel like it was really fun to kind of get a glimpse into, how people live life in Mallorca, and, people just are swimming constantly. All the beaches are beautiful. We were there kind of right when summer was starting, so that was pretty fun. But there was just so many opportunities to get some beautiful shots while we were swimming. And then finally from that trip, we actually took a little day trip, a little road trip actually up into the mountains. And this road is pretty famous there. It's this pretty windy, crazy road. And I got some really cool kind of tighter shots with the GFX that I really love. This one in black and white is definitely one of my favorites. You have these crazy mountains with the jagged rocks and also just this like incredibly windy road. People were actually biking up this, which was pretty crazy. So this turned out really cool, and it was a beautiful day up in the mountains. And finally, I have one more trip to share with you guys. This is actually one that I just did really recently up to Oregon and Washington to see family and friends. And honestly, I don't really have a lot to say for these photos. These are quite literally probably some of the best photos I've taken all year. And I don't really want to kind of just talk about them. I'd rather just show them to you guys to kind of close this video out. So I hope you guys enjoy checking these ones out. These are some of my, again, favorite photos that I probably have taken this year. It just captures the road trip so well. What it's like to be on the road, what it's like to swim and be up in the mountains in the Pacific Northwest in summertime. So I'll leave you guys with this. So before this video does wrap up, I did want to take a moment to thank today's sponsor, which is Squarespace, for sponsoring today's episode. As always, Squarespace is a wonderful supporter of this YouTube channel, and I can't thank them enough for their continued support. If you're any sort of creative or artist, it just makes a lot of sense to use Squarespace because it's so simple and easy to use. I myself have been using Squarespace pretty much since the beginning of my career, so I can't recommend them enough. If you guys want to check out Squarespace for yourself, there'll be a link down in the description to receive 10% off your first website or domain purchase. Thank you so much to Squarespace for sponsoring this video, and yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.